Welcome to California Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. Our roadshow continues. We're in Ventura, California. We are joined today by Skylar Peak. He is the mayor of Malibu, which you know holds a special place in my heart. My parents owned a drugstore in Malibu for many years. They've sold it in Cross Creek. You know it well. And so I always get a smile on my face when I see someone from Malibu. Tough life, I'm sure, my friend.
Very.
How is it in Malibu?
No shortage of opinions.
I was going to say, but interestingly, there seemed to be not a unanimity of opinion, but 60% of your voters came down pretty strongly on what's known as Measure R. And Measure R essentially changes the way land use decisions are made for large developments in your city. Tell us about Measure R.
Yeah, so Measure R was supported by actor, director Rob Reiner, former council member and mayor Jefferson Wagner, and myself.
Right.
And I was one of the 5 council members that supported it. Everyone else did not, but I think the people really wanted this to pass. And what it does is it takes any commercial development, any project that's 20,000 square feet or greater, and it has to go to a vote of the people.
Not to a planning commission.
Correct.
Why did you want that?
So what I wanted is our community is faced with increased traffic and a lot of shopping stores and whatnot that don't reflect the small rural character of our community. We have a lot more chain stores now than we ever used to and ever imagined. And the ordinance and the law will also prevent any large scale big box stores, but even stores that are 5,000 square foot more urban outfitter type stores and stuff to come in.
It's going to regulate the percentage of chain stores allowed in shopping centers.
Correct.
So I understand why you would want that. The flip side, though, is these types of stores do bring jobs. They bring sales tax dollars. And so in the final analysis, why did the quaint nature of Malibu overtake the desire for more revenue in the city? Because
I think the quaint nature of Malibu is what makes Malibu Malibu, and it's mainly the reason why a lot of people live there and enjoy the fact that it is a little bit more rural and it doesn't have all the stores that you see everywhere else.
I must ask, were you surprised by the margin of victory? 60-40, that's not close. In our democracy, that's not close. And like you said, you were 1 out of 5 council members that voted and came out publicly for it. The other 4 were against. And I know Rob Reiner is a popular figure. He's been involved in politics, but still, 60%, that's a mandate.
Yeah, I was. What was challenging for me is I was actually in New York during the election, and the margin after the mail-in ballots was like 10 votes. Oh my! So Malibu's a small town. We have 13,000 people. We got about 9,000 eligible voters. So you figure you're going to get
10 votes is a big. That could be the margin of victory.
Exactly. And then the rest of the numbers came in, and I was so relieved and so grateful, so glad that I stuck with my gut on this one. And it was really what I believed in and what I believed. Our city had passed a formula retail ordinance about a year ago, and that still needed a little. It wasn't strict enough, and it didn't do enough for the advocates in our community that really want to preserve the character of our town.
But why do you think the margin was so large? It's a 20-point margin. That's very significant.
Because it's what the people wanted.
Why? But I'm going to push you. Why? I mean.
They wanted it because they don't, we have about 1 million square feet of development that could be built in our community, and that scares people that live there when the traffic gets really bad in the summer. And Malibu's a beautiful place, and we want to keep it that way, and we want anything that comes into our city to be really something that the city needs.
Let's talk about elections. We know that in LA County, for example, Malibu's in LA County, in the recent midterm elections, the voter turnout was abysmal. In fact, I read that the voter turnout from 2014 midterm to 2010 midterm dropped 30 points. That's really remarkable.
Atrocious.
Atrocious. We may hit 30% voter turnout. Malibu is looking to make it, I guess you could say, easier for voters to vote in municipal elections, trying to create a scenario whereby incentivize it. What are you looking to do?
So what I'm looking to do is currently we are not on the county election and on the county ballot. We're on a separate ballot that occurs in April. And we get a lower turnout versus when the elections happen in November. Indeed. So my hope is to be able to join that, and unfortunately, we would like to do it. What we'd like to do is have a consolidated elections.
But let me ask, are you on cycle, meaning are you in odd years or even years?
So we're even year.
Okay, so you will still be presidential gubernatorial, but your primary's in.
No, so all of our municipal elections are in April. So it's not even in June and not even in November. So
we runoffs?
No, we just have we have
just
one
April.
ballot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing to get people to come out for, and it's also at a time where many years it's occurred during spring break.
Oh my.
You know, so you get a lot of our people do absentee ballot, but there's also a lot of people that like to go to the polls.
I wonder though if one could argue that yes, your ballot is separate, but maybe that's a good thing, because then all the focus is on the Malibu municipal election. If you move to June, let's say in 2016, everyone will be focused on the presidential primary, if it's still in play by then, but you get my point.
Yeah. No,
what about that argument?
There is a potential that the interest locally could get a little bit diluted, I would say, and maybe people aren't going to spend as much time working on their campaign because they're working on a presidential campaign, or recently the supervisor's campaign
that was a hot race
in Los Angeles County. However, that being said, the fact is, and the numbers don't lie, more people turn out to vote in November. So if the goal is to get more people to vote, right, we need to have our elections in November. And there's many other municipalities throughout Los Angeles County, Southern California, and the state who still have these odd.
Well, what about the city of Los Angeles? They're in odd years and in March.
Yeah.
And they're looking to make a move.
Yeah, so the county has been talking about getting these voter machines for, I've heard some people say 20 years, 15 years, right? They said that they were going to have them by 2006.
Voting centers.
Yeah, they said 2016, then it was 2017, now it's 2020. So my hope is that, while we might not be able to do a consolidated election in the next couple years with our city.
Is that because they need a separate ballot? They couldn't put you on their ballot?
Yeah, so that would be concurrent. So we would have, what we would probably have to do is to have two ballots, right?
Why?
But at the same time.
Why though?
Because the county has to allow us to be consolidated onto the ballot.
So talk to, is it Sheila Kuehl as your supervisor?
It's a bureaucratic thing, but it's more going to the county clerk and the registrar's office.
Dean Logan? I just interviewed him. I mean, wouldn't it behoove them to do that?
It's a weird thing. So I've heard these many different reasons why, and one thing is that, oh, well, if we just let one, then we have to let them all.
Aren't most consolidated?
No, I want to say that there's
I live
around
in the city of Los Angeles, so I don't have a sense myself. Yeah.
20 to 30 cities that are in this situation.
Concurrent.
That would need to go and want to go to the even year November election. And while I think it's important to have the energy placed on the local council and all the different things that we're facing locally, I think it's very important to get a higher voter turnout. And that's the reason for doing it.
So Mayor, will you have a cost savings if you're going concurrent as opposed to consolidated?
So concurrent would cost the same.
As
us running our election separately right
April.
now.
Okay.
But we would have potentially a higher voter turnout. Now, if it was consolidated, yes, we would save the money because the county would be having the expense of the election.
So I would have to think that you're not alone. You said it, 20 to 30 cities are looking at this. The county has 88 cities. I mean, this seems like an issue that cities can get together, the Los Angeles County League of Cities, to say, I mean, come on, county.
Yeah, and what the county has said, and not so much for smaller cities like us, but maybe some like LA City, right? They're going to have, how many items potentially on a ballot.
We're in the 21st century. Come on, this should be easy. I'm rooting for you.
No, I agree. I mean, you're preaching to the choir.
Exactly.
I hope that it happens sooner rather than later for our city. And again, I think that the main thing here is voter turnout. And whatever we can do to do that and increase that, that's what we need to do.
His name is Skylar Peak. He is the mayor of beautiful Malibu, California. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's California Edition.